What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be going over Palantir. Now, they just got a pretty substantial price target raise, so we're going to go over everything that means for the stock going forward. Now, this week for Palantir is a very pivotal week. They are reporting their Q4 earnings tomorrow morning, Tuesday the 16th, and they also have their share lockup period expiring towards the end of the week, so that could create some more selling pressure in the stock going forward. So we're going to go over all the possible scenarios that could occur with Palantir stock throughout this week and the rest of the month. And I'm going to give out some of the options plays that I am looking at getting into for each scenario that could possibly happen. So before we get into all of that information, if you guys enjoy this video, please go down and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell if you want to be notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I am trading and which strategies I am using to trade them. So if we go over and take a look at the chart of Palantir, we can see that the options plays that we had ended up not going as we planned. So we had the $45 strike for February 19th this week. Previously, we had the February 19th 30 strike going into demo day, and those hit really big. So we tried to double dip on that play and get some 45s after the pretty substantial Palantir dip, after it absolutely ran up to its highs. And we did see a substantial gain in these contracts, but the last couple of days last week, the stock just fell a very substantial amount, and the premiums on these contracts just kind of got eaten away, and we ended up taking a loss of about 20 to 30%, but we made so much money on the last Palantir trade that this trade was kind of free, in my opinion. We were trying to double dip. We got a little bit greedy, but we ended up getting out of this play with a small loss, which is always good when you're trading deep out of the money option. So if we take a look over at this price target increase, we can see that Palantir stock price, $40 target by Jefferies. So the stock price of Palantir Technologies has received a price target increase from $30 to $40 by Jefferies. So here are the details. The stock price was upgraded by Brent Thill, assigned a buy rating. So Brent has cited Palantir's recent major deals along with survey data from hundreds of IT users. Phil also believes that the company has strong fundamentals in general. In a research note, Phil pointed out that even if the current stock price has elevated expectations built in going into Q4, there are still long-term growth opportunities. So this price target raise by Jefferies is at a very important price point for Palantir. If we come over and take a look at the options chain of Palantir, we are going to be taking a look at the monthly February expiration date, which is going to be February 19th, 2021. If we take a look at the 35s, we can see that they have an open interest of about 55,448, which means that there is about this many contracts being held in people's brokerage accounts at the current time. If we scroll over a little bit further, we can see that the volume is also very unusual compared to some of the other strikes on the chain, and there were 18,505 of these contracts that were bought and sold on Friday alone. If we take a look at the 40s, which is the price point that Jefferies has upgraded Palantir to, that is their price target for where they think Palantir is going to go in the near future. We see Jefferies give Palantir some pretty aggressive price targets almost every month. The last one was up to 30, which was very substantial. Now, looking at this $40 strike, it does have a lower open interest than these 35s. About 36,534 of these contracts are being held in people's brokerage accounts at the current time. But if we scroll over here, we can see that these $40 strike weeklies have the highest volume on the chain, meaning that 32,811 of these contracts were bought and sold just on Friday alone. So we could see this open interest number actually change and go a lot higher in the near future. So we could see this actually go up to about 50,000 on Tuesday. So Palantir is reporting their earnings. So the open interest on these deep out of the money calls are very substantial. But if we take a look at the puts, there are actually some pretty high open interest contracts on the put side as well. We can see the 30s have a pretty high open interest on the weekly. The 27s have a very high open interest, but the calls do have more open interest on them, meaning more individuals and institutions are holding calls going into Palantir's earnings. Now, Palantir's actual earnings report is going to be very important, and what they need to do is they need to beat the analyst expectations. So what are those expectations? If we come over here, the consensus EPS earnings per share estimate is 0.02. So that's going to be 2 cents per share. And the consensus revenue estimate is going to be about $301 million. So that's a huge amount of revenue. If we can see Palantir exceed this, we are going to see Palantir go absolutely crazy. And if you didn't know, Palantir is also having a Q&A platform where essentially investors are able to ask questions and other investors are able to upvote those questions. And the company is going to pick some of these questions to address in their earnings call. So this is similar to what Tesla does. You're actually going to be able to ask questions directly to management, which is a very good sign. We could get some more forward-looking statements or more insight into what Palantir plans to do in the future, getting more contracts and the actual size of these contracts, as well as what they are actually planning on doing with their technology. Now, there are a lot of different scenarios that could happen with Palantir's earnings coming up. So if we come over to the options chain and the chart of Palantir, we can see that it is trading at 31.91. So the first strategy is going to be playing the Palantir earnings continuation on weeklies. If Palantir blows it out of the water and they start rocketing in share price, it is possible that you could get some cheap weeklies out in this $46 to $50 mark if Palantir absolutely goes crazy. Now, these are going to be gamble kind of lottery ticket plays. So if I end up taking any of these Palantir trades in the high 40s or low 50s, I am not going to put in any amount that is over $100. And here's why. So towards the end of the week, Palantir's share lockup period is going to be expiring, meaning a lot more shares will be coming to the market. So it's not guaranteed that there is going to be a lot of selling pressure in Palantir by the end of this week, but it is always possible. The second play that I'm going to be looking at is if Palantir misses their earnings. So if they miss and their share price goes down into this $27 to $29 range, and then we have the share lockup period expiring, which could actually send Palantir shares going even further down, I'm going to be looking at some leaps. So we're going to be looking at these January 22 contracts. We could go out a little bit further, but I think January 2022 is going to be far enough out. So if Palantir falls a substantial amount, these contracts may fall anywhere between 20 and 30% in value, depending on how much Palantir shares fall off of the earnings announcement and their share lockup period. Now, I don't think this is really going to happen. I think Palantir is going to beat their earnings, but you have to be prepared for every possible scenario. Now, what I'm going to be looking at for these strikes is going to be the 55 or 60 if Palantir falls. So these will probably be worth anywhere between $500 and $550 per contract. They may go even lower if Palantir falls a substantial amount and there's kind of a black swan and they really miss their earnings. Now, this is a good play to get into because I think that Palantir is a great company long term, and I think that we could see a double throughout 2021 just because of how strong they are as a data analytics company. There's rumors that they're going to be partnering up with Facebook and AT&T in the near future, and they're continuously getting big contracts left and right, and they're still an influential part of helping out handle the pandemic from a data analytics and a predictive analytics perspective. So that's going to be it for this update on Palantir. Overall, I think that we could see great things from this company throughout 2021 and beyond, but this week is going to be very important. Their earnings pre-market tomorrow are going to be a very important deciding factor on where the share price goes in the short term. But once we get past the share lockup period expiration, I think it's going to be blue skies and clear flying from here on out. I just think that they're going to be getting so many more contracts. Their technology is getting better and better, and once people fully understand what Palantir is able to do as a company and what value that they bring to society as a whole, I think a lot more investors are going to see how great this company actually is. So that's going to be it for this update on Palantir. If you guys enjoyed the information that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and smash that like button and hit the subscribe button, and make sure you turn on that notification bell if you want to see more videos like this. So I hope you guys are having a great long weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next video.